Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Naresh Mabu and with me is Prashant Kumar Sinha with the evening news. The headlines. India achieves another milestone in COVID-19 vaccination with total vaccination crossing 58 crore mark. Recovery rate stands at 97.54%. India's first COVID vaccine for children above 12 years gets approval for emergency use in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country is fighting COVID-19 with full vigor and approval for ZyCoV-D vaccine is a testimony to innovative zeal of India's scientists. In Tamil Nadu, schools and colleges to reopen on September the 1st. Assam to start rolling out benefits under One Nation, One Ration Card scheme from Monday. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman lauds efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for launching several women-centric schemes. Indian startups get $16.9 billion venture capital funding in 2021, says Global Data. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur emphasizes need to encourage states towards one state, one sport outlook. And Keralites celebrate their biggest festival, Thiruvonam, across the globe today. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact National Helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. India has crossed yet another milestone in the COVID vaccination drive, with the total vaccinations crossing the 58 crore mark today. The Union Health Ministry has termed it as yet another achievement in its fight against COVID-19. It said the recovery rate in the country stands at 97.54% and it is the highest since March last year. More than 36,000 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. Till now, more than 3 crore 15 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19. India reported over 34,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. Till now, 4,33,964 people have lost their lives in the pandemic. The testing capacity has been substantially ramped up and more than 50 crore 45 lakh tests have been conducted so far. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSCO, has approved DNA COVID-19 3-dose vaccine ZyCoV-D of Cadila Healthcare for restricted use in emergency situation in India for those aged 12 years and above. It was approved after evaluation of interim Phase 3 clinical trial results in consultation with Subject Expert Committee of CDSCO. The vaccine has an efficacy of 66.6% and it is to be stored at 2 degrees Celsius to 8 degrees Celsius. The vaccine is needle-free to be administered intradermally in 3 doses at day 0, day 28 and day 56. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said India is fighting COVID-19 with full vigor and the approval for the world's first DNA-based ZyCoV-D vaccine of Zydus Cadila is a testimony to the innovative zeal of India's scientists. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, "It is a momentous feat indeed." Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya said, "Double good news for the nation as CDSCO approves the first DNA-based needle-free COVID-19 vaccine in the world, ZyCoV-D of Zydus Cadila." He said in making children of India COVID safe, this vaccine can be used for individuals aged 12 and above. Mr. Mandaviya said ZyCoV-D is the 6th approved COVID-19 vaccine in India and the 2nd indigenously developed one. He said Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India delivers another significant accomplishment.
The Tamil Nadu government has decided to open colleges and schools from the 1st of September. Students of classes from 9th to class 12th standard will be allowed to attend classes on a rotational basis. Reopening of schools for 1st standard to standard 8th will be decided on the 15th of September. More on this from our Chennai correspondent.
With COVID-19 restrictions extended till 6th September in the state, the government has encouraged people to vaccinate and follow COVID-19 regulations at all places with face masks and physical distancing. A decision to this effect was taken at the high-level meeting led by Chief Minister M.K. Stalin today. According to the regulations, movie theatres will function with 50% seats from 28th of this month. Public will be allowed in beaches. Shops will be allowed to function till 10 p.m. from Monday. Transport services from Andhra and Karnataka will be allowed following COVID procedures. IT offices and IT services can function with 100% attendance. Public parks, boats and zoos will be allowed to function with COVID-19 regulations. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
COVID positive cases continue upsurge in Kerala, where 17,106 new cases were reported during the past 24 hours. The test positivity rate has increased to 17.73% as against 16.94% yesterday. 2,558 new cases were reported in Malappuram district, followed by Kozhikode and Thrissur districts. The state also reported 83 deaths, taking the total number of people who succumbed to the pandemic to 19,428. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has announced that restrictions on timings to open markets amid COVID-19 in the national capital have been lifted from Monday, and markets will be allowed to function as per normal timings. In a tweet, Mr. Kejriwal said earlier the government had allowed markets to remain open only till 8 p.m. He said as the COVID cases are coming down, the new relaxations will be effective from next week. Assam will start rolling out benefits under One Nation, One Ration Card ONORC scheme from Monday. Talking to newspersons in Guwahati, State Food, Civil Supply and Consumer Affairs Minister Ranjit Kumar Das said that over 2 crore 50 lakh families would benefit from this scheme. The minister urged beneficiaries to come forward and to get their ration cards linked with their Aadhaar, as without the seeding they will not be eligible to get food grain and other items under ONORC. The ONORC is a flagship scheme of the central government that allows eligible beneficiaries to avail food grains they are entitled to under the National Food Security Act from any fair price shop across the country. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has stressed on the importance of infrastructural development in the country and said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has given priority to the development of the infrastructure sector. She was speaking on the occasion of transferring of loan of 5,100 crore rupees sanctioned by the Punjab National Bank for Ganga Expressway scheme in Uttar Pradesh.
देश का उन्नति के लिए अगर हम मीनिंगफुली कुछ कार्यक्रम करना है तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए प्रामुख्यता देना आवश्यक है और उसके लिए हर बजट में कुछ न कुछ अधिक से अधिक प्रावधान करते आए हैं। 2017 और 2018 में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए स्पेसिफिक प्रोजेक्ट्स को उठा करके बहुत ही सपोर्ट केंद्र सरकार राज्यों को देने के लिए बहुत ही एक प्लान्ड व्यवस्था के तहत करके आ रहे हैं।
The finance minister said that union budget has envisioned that through infrastructure development, the country can come out of the ill effects of COVID-19 pandemic. She also appreciated the way Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is taking development forward very effectively. The finance minister said that Ganga Expressway will not only increase the connectivity, but will also be very much helpful for the implementation of many schemes, including the defence corridor. Speaking on the occasion, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said that the Ganga Expressway will be the backbone of the state's economy. Ms. Sitharaman also launched an ambitious Ubharte Sitare Fund, USF, for export-oriented firms and startups at a program in Lucknow today. The fund aims at arranging funds for promotion of micro, small and medium companies. Earlier in the day, launching UP's Mission Shakti 3.0 program, the finance minister lauded the efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for launching several women-centric schemes and giving women priority in several other schemes.
जनधन हो, उज्ज्वला स्कीम हो, स्वामित्व हो, पोषण अभियान हो या मुद्रा लोन के द्वारा जो छोटे छोटे लोन मिलता है, महिला को ही अग्रस्थान मिला है। मुद्रा लोन में जो रेडी पटरी में बाकी छोटे छोटे कारोबार चलाने वाले लोगों को भी लोन मिलता है, मगर उसमें ज्यादातर लोन पाने वाले महिला है। पूरे सैनिक स्कूल में लड़कियों को भर्ती करने के लिए अभी अनाउंसमेंट हुआ। पढ़ने में सैनिक स्कूल से फिर नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी में भर्ती होने का पॉसिबिलिटी होता है। उस संभावना से महिला डायरेक्टली कमीशन्ड ऑफिसर हो सकते हैं आर्मी, नेवी या एयरफोर्स या कोस्ट गार्ड में। ये बहुत बड़ा प्रयत्न जो अभी सफल हुआ, उसके वजह से पूरे सशक्तिकरण का सिंबल स्ट्रांगली दिखाई देगा।
Ms. Sitharaman also appreciated Prime Minister Modi's move of inducting several women as ministers and said presently there are 11 women ministers in the Union Cabinet. Speaking on the COVID vaccination drive, the Finance Minister said that many developed countries do not have vaccines, but due to Prime Minister Modi's personal efforts, 6 vaccines are being produced in India.
Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has said that the development of education is the joint responsibility of both the union and the state governments. Reviewing the progress of Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan and Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan RUSA in Odisha in capital Bhubaneswar today, the minister said that it's our responsibility to guide especially the poor students and dropouts to become self-employed by skilling them as envisioned in the new education policy. A report.
In the meeting, the Union Education and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Minister, Mr. Pradhan, discussed on the possibility of a pilot project on vocational education and skill development by onboarding about 150 schools of the state. Mr. Pradhan also said that emphasis would be put on the access to basic facilities like water, electricity, toilet and internet in about 50,000 government schools of the state in a period of 2 years. While drinking water will be supplied under the centre's Swajal Dhara scheme, electricity supply would be ensured through the Saubhagya scheme, toilet construction through the Swachh Bharat mission, and internet connectivity through the BharatNet scheme. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In Jammu and Kashmir, 3 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists were killed in an encounter with security forces in the upper reaches of Nagberan forest in Avantipura area of Pulwama district this morning. Police said a joint team of security forces launched a cordon and search operation based on an intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in the area. As the security forces approached the suspected spot, the hiding terrorists fired upon them, triggering a gunfight which resulted in the killing of the 3 terrorists. One of the terrorists neutralized in the operation has been identified as Vakil Shah, who was responsible for the killing of Rakesh Pandita, a BJP leader and municipal councillor of Tral in Pulwama district on the 2nd of June this year. The identification of the other 2 terrorists is being ascertained. BJP President JP Nadda has said that the Narendra Modi government has given a lot of incentives in the defence sector and taken several steps for the welfare of the army personnel. Addressing the ex-servicemen in a program at Haridwar today, Mr. Nadda said that the Modi government has substantially increased the defence budget. A number of roads and bridges in border areas have been constructed during the rule of Modi government, which have provided easy approach to the border posts. Referring to the Prime Minister's visit to the border areas on the eve of festivals like Deepavali, he said that it shows the emotional attachment of Mr. Modi with the soldiers. Mr. Nadda said that a number of equipment are being made in the country under Atmanirbhar Bharat. The BJP president also honoured ex-servicemen on this occasion.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has said that FM radio stations will be set up in every district of Himachal Pradesh. He was addressing a press conference in Mandi district today as part of his maiden 5-day Jan Ashirwad Yatra. The Union Minister urged the state government to make more efforts from now onwards in order to bring more medals for the country in the upcoming Olympics and other sports events. He added that in order to promote sports in Himachal Pradesh, a plan is also being made to build stadiums in every district of the state, subject to the availability of land. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India achieves another milestone in COVID-19 vaccination with total vaccination crossing 58 crore mark. Recovery rate stands at 97.54%. India's first COVID-19 vaccine for children above 12 years gets approval for emergency use in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country is fighting COVID-19 with full vigor, and approval for Zycov-D vaccine is testimony to innovative zeal of India's scientists. In Tamil Nadu, schools and colleges to reopen on September 1st. Assam to start rolling out benefits under One Nation, One Ration Card scheme from Monday. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman lauds efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for launching several women-centric schemes. Indian startups get $16.9 billion venture capital funding in 2021, says Global Data. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur emphasizes need to encourage states towards one state, one sport outlook, and Keralites celebrate their biggest festival, Thiruvonam, across the globe today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों ने अपने प्राणों की आहुति दी। कुछ इतिहास में अमर हो गए और कई गुमनाम। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के अंतर्गत 75 कड़ियों की श्रृंखला में हम उन वीरांगनाओं की बात करेंगे जिनका योगदान कभी भुलाया नहीं जा सकता। प्रत्येक मंगलवार परिक्रमा में सुनिए अपराजिता, देश की वीरांगनाओं को आकाशवाणी का सादर नमन।
Indian startups got $16.9 billion of venture capital funding in 2021, according to the leading data and analytics company Global Data. The company said despite the third wave of COVID-19 pandemic looming large and slow economic recovery, venture capital investors seem to be reposing faith in the Indian startup ecosystem. An analysis of Global Data's financial deals database reveals that a total of 828 VC funding deals were announced in India during January to July 2021. Central Board of Direct Taxes (CBDT) has issued refunds of over 49,696 crore rupees to more than 22,75,000 taxpayers between the 1st of April to the 16th of August this year. In a tweet, Income Tax India said income tax refunds of 14,608 crore rupees have been issued in over 21,50,000 cases, and corporate tax refunds of 35,088 crore rupees have been issued in over 1,24,000 cases. Over 1 crore 2 lakh pieces of jewellery have been hallmarked following implementation of mandatory hallmarking. Mandatory hallmarking of gold jewellery and artifacts came into force in a phased manner from the 16th of June with a rollout in 256 districts across India. Briefing media on the progress and implementation of mandatory hallmarking, Director General of Bureau of Indian Standards Pramod Kumar Tiwari said this entire process has been a huge success so far. He said the pace of hallmarking has reached almost 4 lakh jewelleries per day. He added that the awareness camps are being held for jewellers to ease this process.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion, as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz will be conducted on every Monday and Tuesday in the morning news till the 15th of August 2022. The next question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with listeners on Monday the 23rd of August. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News.
आजादी का सफर एवरी डे विद ऑल इंडिया रेडियो। from Monday, the 16th of August. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you the story of glorious struggle and sacrifices of freedom fighters on 100.1 FM Gold channel in the English news bulletins at 8:30 a.m., 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Stay tuned.
Now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. Every day, AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle. In today's episode, we will talk about freedom fighter named Sahodaran Ayyappan, P. Jeevanandam, and will also talk about August offer of the British. Today is the birth anniversary of Sahodaran Ayyappan, a social reformer and thinker from Kerala. Ayyappan was born on 21st of August 1889 in Chennai, Ernakulam. Influenced by the philosophy of Sri Narayana Guru, Ayyappan became his disciple. A staunch rationalist, he launched a magazine titled Yuktivad in 1928 to propagate his thoughts of freedom, equality and brotherhood.
What can be called a milestone in Kerala's Renaissance movement is the Mishra Bhojanam, in which people of all castes had dinner together. Ayyappan got the prefix Sahodaran to his name after he started a journal titled Sahodaran to help promote harmony in the society. He breathed his last on the 6th of March 1968. The legacy left behind by Sahodaran will remain etched in the history of Kerala's socio-cultural renaissance.
Today is also the birth anniversary of another great son of India, P. Jeevanandam. He was born on 21st of August 1907 in the present-day Kanyakumari district of Tamil Nadu. He was not only a freedom fighter and a socio-political leader, but was also a cultural theoretician, excellent orator, journalist and critic, and above all, a relentless fighter for the deprived. A politician with a clean record in public life who lived and died in utter poverty.
Jeevanandam started his political life as a Gandhian. In 1924, he participated in the Vaikam Satyagraha. He also participated in a protest demanding entry for so-called untouchables into the Suchindram temple. Later, during his stay in an ashram in Siruvayal, he had written a letter to Gandhi, disagreeing with some of his methods. When Gandhi came to Madras, he had this letter in his pocket and wanted to meet Jeeva. He told Rajaji that he would like to go to the ashram where he resided and meet him. When Gandhi went to Shiruvayal ashram and asked for Jeeva, the Mahatma was surprised to meet the 25-year-old Jeeva. His patriotism took him to the national movement. His revulsion towards caste-based discrimination led him to the self-respect movement.
One of his major influences was the works of the Tamil poet Subramanya Bharati and also Bharati's persona and simple lifestyle. He was well versed in Tamil literature and was a good orator. Jeeva translated Bhagat Singh's classic essays into Tamil. Jeevanandam was in the forefront of efforts to build a strong labour movement in Tamil Nadu. In the first general elections in post-independence India, Jeeva became an MLA and worked for the development of Tamil Nadu.
And it was on this day in 1940 when the nationalist leaders rejected the August offer in a meeting held at Wardha. During the Second World War, Viceroy Linlithgow had declared India to be at war against Germany. Indian leaders were miffed as the British government had pulled India into war without the consent of the people of the country. But the British government was keen on getting Indian support as it feared to lose the battle. Viceroy Linlithgow made a set of proposals called the August Offer. It proposed to accord India's dominion status among other offers. But nationalists rejected the offer and demanded nothing but complete independence.
After the failure of August offer, Mahatma Gandhi urged volunteers to offer individual satyagraha. Vinoba Bhave, the saint of Wardha, was the first to volunteer. Satyagrahis also started the Dilli Chalo movement. This was the decisive moment in the freedom struggle. This was the last leg of struggle for independence when, after individual satyagraha in 1942, Gandhiji launched the Quit India movement with the mantra of do or die, which eventually brought freedom for the nation.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Union Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla today chaired a high-level meeting to review celebrations under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to celebrate 75 years of India's independence across the Union territories. Chief Secretary J&K Dr. Arun Kumar Mehta along with Chief Secretaries of other Union territories participated in the meeting. Keralites all over the world celebrated Thiruvonam today, the most important day of the Onam festival. With COVID-19 cases showing no signs of abatement, the celebrations remained highly subdued. A report.
For the second consecutive year, Kerala celebrated Onam in the midst of a pandemic. The festival usually brings forth a multitude of colors and flavors, but this time the exuberance and grandeur associated with it was clearly missing. The warnings by the state health authorities made people to stay away from crowds and massive celebrations. Many confined themselves to their homes. The festivities at the Trikakara temple in Kochi, associated with the legend of Mahabali, remained low-key. The Onam feast, a regular feature of the festival held at the temple, was cancelled due to the prevailing COVID-19 situation. While celebrations remained subdued, people fervently hope that the situation will change for the better during the days ahead. Raj Mohan, AIR News, Kochi.
The President, Vice President and Prime Minister have greeted people on the occasion of Onam. Rag Rag Mein Ganga Season 2, a 26-episode travelogue-based series on rejuvenation of Ganga is starting today on DD National. It is anchored by noted actor Rajiv Khandelwal. The telecast time is 8:30 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, with repeats at 8:30 a.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Indian Railways will train 3,500 unemployed youths from the next month under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana PMKVY. The employment training of these 3,500 individuals will be organized by the Northern Railway and will take place over the next 3 years. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur has said that one of the ways to enhance India's sporting success is by looking at encouraging states towards one state, one sport outlook. In an article in a newspaper, Mr. Thakur wrote that states can prioritize one game or promote a few based on the available talent pool, natural interest, climatic conditions, and available infrastructure. This will not only bring a focused approach, but also allow for optimum utilization of existing resources in the state. India's Amit Khatri today won the silver medal in men's 10,000-meter race walk at the World Athletics U20 Championships in Nairobi. He finished with a time of 42 minutes 17.94 seconds. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi and metropolitan cities including Mumbai and Chennai are likely to witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India achieves another milestone in COVID-19 vaccination with total vaccinations crossing 58 crore mark. Recovery rate stands at 97.54%. India's first COVID vaccine for children above 12 years gets approval for emergency use in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says country is fighting COVID-19 with full vigor, and approval for Zycov-D vaccine is a testimony to the innovative zeal of India's scientists. In Tamil Nadu, schools and colleges to reopen on September the 1st. Assam to start rolling out benefits under One Nation, One Ration Card scheme from Monday. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman lauds efforts of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for launching several women-centric schemes. Indian startups get $16.9 billion venture capital funding in 2021, says Global Data. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur emphasizes the need to encourage states towards one state, one sport outlook. And Keralites celebrate their biggest festival, Tiruvonam, across the globe today. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.